We're going to take it out to DJ Manu. He is reporting on some of the damage that we are seeing in this very location. DJ.
Yeah, Ed, I'm right here on Ireland Road right now, which is closed off due to the damage. There's power lines down as well as many trees. And the biggest thing that they're talking about right now is right behind me. It might be tough to see, but the Growing Kids Learning Center, the roof has been caved in. Parts of it are missing. Extreme damage to us. And I even talked to the COO about it. They say right now all they know is that there's power lines down around the building itself, and they can't get in at this time. I&M is here to try to cut the power on this place right now. Initially, there was also a gas leak that they were able to cut off. But now they're asking, I talked to Penn Township Battalion Chief, they were saying that people need to stay away from this area right now because of just the damage between the trees down and the power lines. There's extreme danger right here that they want people to stay away from while they're trying to clean it up. And again, Ireland Road right now is closed and will be closed throughout the night. So if anybody plans on driving through here to get to work tomorrow, they're asking to try to find a different route because this will be closed. But again, right now, severe damage throughout this area with trees down, power lines down, and the Learning Center has taken some serious damage. And we'll continue updating it as we find out. I'll send it back to you guys, but I'm live in South Bend. DJ Manu, WSBT 22 News.
And DJ, thank you. We don't know that more than 1,400 I&M customers are without power in South Bend, mostly on the south side. And we want to show you this incredible video shared with WSBT 22 by a viewer. It appears to show a tornado on Ireland Road on the south side of South Bend. You can see the swirling cloud picking up debris and hear that howling wind coming through. We've received a lot of videos and photos showing this storm and resulting damage tonight. We want to thank you for sharing them with us.
6:30 right now, and we are starting this morning with this. This is a look at a tornado from yesterday, courtesy of Tom Shaw, as it rips through parts of the south side of South Bend. Now, much of the area in cleanup mode after that tornado hit yesterday in a very busy stretch of the city. This video from a neighborhood on the south side from Mr. Shaw, and he sent it to us. Fortunately, he and no one else ended up being hurt in the storm that came ripping through. Now, we do have team coverage that continues this morning of now the aftermath and the cleanup. Our Kristen Bean is live in front of the Growing Kids Learning Center this morning, where you can see that building is basically gone.
Yeah, a lot of damage there and more damage down here. You can see trees are down, power lines have been knocked down, and we will get to Kristen in just a minute. But first, let's start with meteorologist Ed Russo, who's in for Carrie, because Ed, this was not a normal severe storm like we typically see.
Didn't have my mic on, but it's turned on now. We did not have any thunder or lightning with the system last night, but that just goes to show you that these situations can evolve very, very, very quickly. And this is, I've zoomed in on the storm from last night. This is around 8:40. This is Ireland Road, perpendicular to it. That's where we have Ironwood. And this is the southwest side of the storm. You see that kind of hook? That's the first evidence that we might have a rotating storm. The second piece of evidence we look at is velocity mode, which shows how the wind is blowing with respect to the radar site. Red, wind blowing away, green, wind blowing towards. So there you can see the visualize the rotation, which passed just over the Ironwood-Ireland intersection, where we have seen much of the damage. And of course, that's where our own Kristen Bean is at right now, at the intersection of Ironwood and Ireland Road, right near the Growing Kids Learning Center, where we've seen some of the worst damage from the event last night. Kristen.
Yeah, crews from the National Weather Service are going to be out here today to meet with St. Jude County emergency management officials to assess the damage. And Ed's been saying it all morning. There's no question that this was a tornado because we have video of it. The question is how powerful. This damage behind me illustrates how powerful this storm was that came through here. This is the Growing Kids Learning Center. It is on Ireland Road, just off of Ironwood, and look at the damage. This building ripped apart by the storm last night. You can see the walls, the roof, the structure inside just decimated. You can even see playground equipment in the back. It has been ripped apart and thrown for a pretty large distance. In fact, the bank about 0.3 miles down the way, there's a little bit of playground equipment sitting in that bank parking lot. Look at the Growing Kids sign. that was ripped out of the ground by the cement. It takes significant wind power to do something like that. And then if you come over here, a lot of power lines down in this area. You can see this power line snapped at its base. Again, it takes significant wind power to do that. The storm came through about 8:30, a little bit after 8:30 last night. Fire crews told me they got the alarm from Growing Kids, the fire alarm from Growing Kids around 8:43, 8:47-ish time. And there is some more damage, a little bit of damage to Iris Hill's apartment and some home damage behind Growing Kids. The good news is no injuries. This place was closed for the weekend, and St. Joe County Dispatch not reporting any other injuries in this storm. We will learn likely today how powerful this tornado was that came through the area. But again, the good news is no injuries. This road, Ireland, is closed and will be closed for a significant amount of time. St. Joe County deputies down at the end of the road told me AEP hasn't even been here yet to assess some of this power line damage. So we do expect Ireland between Ironwood and the entrance to Irish Hills to be closed. But Ironwood, the main thoroughfare, is open this morning. Live here in South Bend, Kristen Bean, WSBT 22 News.
All right, take a look at this. We are getting a bird's eye view of the damage in South Bend after a tornado touched down last night. This video courtesy of Robert Franklin at the South Bend Tribune.
The new information tonight, as the National Weather Service says, it was an EF2 tornado. Officials say the storm developed over Marshall County, then moved northeast towards South Bend.
The actual tornado formed just south of US 20. Officials say it traveled for 2 miles with peak winds reaching 125 miles per hour.
Right. It then lifted just south of the intersection of Ironwood Drive and Inwood Road. Near there is where we are seeing the most damage.
And we have team coverage tonight for you at 5 as people are assessing that damage and focusing on the next steps.
WSBT 22's Caitlin Connon is live in South Bend at Ireland and Ironwood. That's where a daycare center was destroyed by the tornado.
And WSBT 22's DJ Manu is live near there as well. He's been speaking to homeowners about the damage that they are seeing.
Plus, meteorologist Abby Wepler is here with us now as she's tracking the chance for severe weather again tonight.
Let's first head out to Caitlin at the Growing Kids Learning Center. And Caitlin, cleanup there is well underway.
That's right, Todd. It is hard to miss just how much attention this site needs. The tornado ripped a huge gash in Growing Kids' roof there, and it also flung debris all over the lawn and the streets, and crews have spent most of the day trying to clean this area up, and they've made pretty good progress. Owner Mike Garatoni says it's partly due to community support. He says he's gotten dozens of calls from people who want to help out and make sure everything is okay, and Garatoni says he fully intends to rebuild. He's already working with a design and a construction team.
Fortunately, we just wrapped up a couple projects so we are all in construction mode, and so we will figure out what to do with this mess. But the lesson of the day is just be prepared as much as you can, and then when something bad happens, just react and move on.
Garatoni didn't know quite how long it'll take to rebuild Growing Kids, and in the meantime, parents will need to find alternative childcare. You can hear what those parents were doing with their kids today, coming up tonight at 6. But for now, live in St. Joseph County, Caitlin Connon, WSBT 22 News.
Now, the worst damage was contained to the daycare center, but others in the area were just as impacted.
Yeah, right behind the center on Lamar Street, people are cleaning up their yards. WSBT 22's DJ Manu is live there, and DJ, just a few hundred feet away, and the homes are really dealing with only minor damage.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe comparing what the daycare looks like. But many of these homes, they're missing shingles, and tree limbs are kind of all over their houses. But as we scan through this backyard, you can tell it's going to take some time to clean all this up. The cleanup has begun for Marissa Hull and her brother. Massive trees toppled in their backyard, probably the second scariest sight for them.
We looked right behind us, and we saw the clouds coming right over the bypass, and we had to book it inside.
They made it into their basement with seconds to spare.
The trees kind of falling down onto the houses, and then we felt the house shake, and the power flickered, and then it just cut out.
The house lost some shingles, but the biggest task is cutting up the trees.
There's a lot to clean up, so we're trying to tackle it small pieces at a time.
Her next door neighbors are in the same boat. Dave Lentine and his family are recovering what little they can in what was a garage.
Luckily, most of the people are dealing with trees more than anything, trees and sheds and garages. Home-wise, most of the homes are safe.
He says there's thousands of dollars worth of damage, including the home.
There's a large tree on the back sunroom, which is a TV room. It's punctured through the roof. I don't know structure-wise. We haven't been able to see it yet because of trees laying over it.
If it wasn't for an impromptu family dinner last night,
she'd be sitting in that room now where the tree's laying on right now.
But this isn't Lenteen's first tornado. As a kid, he hid in a ditch when Palm Sunday tornadoes went over him, and again in Niles.
The trailer, we couldn't even get out of. The pressure was so strong that the walls were caving in. I actually watched the tree come up, do a circle, and drop on my truck. And that was probably scarier than Palm Sunday, because we were within about 3 feet of it.
As Lenteen and his family continue to clean up what is left of this debris, they're actually shocked to see what exactly they're finding. This mess right here isn't from their house. It's actually the roof from the Growing Kids Learning Center right down the road. Now, live in St. Joseph County, I'm DJ Manu, WSBT 22 News.
That just shows you the power. Meteorologist Abby Wempler joining us now.
And Abby, you're tracking the chance for some more severe weather again tonight?
We could see an isolated strong storm tonight. We're going to be monitoring that for pretty much the entire evening.
All right, now to our other big story. Take a look at this. A bird's eye view of the damage in South Bend after a tornado touched down there last night. This video courtesy of Robert Franklin at the South Bend Tribune.
The new information tonight as the National Weather Service says it was an EF2 tornado. Officials say the storm developed over Marshall County and then moved northeast toward South Bend.
The actual tornado formed just south of US 20. Officials say it traveled for 2 miles with peak winds reaching 125 miles per hour.
It then lifted just south of the intersection of Ironwood Drive and Inwood Road, and that's where we are seeing the most damage.
All right, our news team is spread across South Bend right now with the latest on how that tornado affected the community.
We start with WSBT 22's Caitlin Kahn, and she is live at Growing Kids Learning Center near Ireland and Ironwood Roads. Caitlin, it's still a pretty intense scene out there.
Dan, you can see how powerful that tornado was by the damage to this building. There is a gaping hole in Growing Kids' roof, and crews have been working all day to clean up. But in the meantime, parents will have to find other daycare options for their kids. These young boys, Nico and Hector, would normally be attending Growing Kids Learning Center. Instead, they're hanging out with their moms today.
A tornado started and it broke the school.
Hector's mom, Ramona, says her little boy has been going to Growing Kids since he was 2. He's 6 now.
Oh, when I told him about it and I showed him the pictures, he was crying. Yeah. He was crying. He's like, "What? Where's my Tara, my destiny?"
Those are Hector's favorite teachers.
Them taking care of me.
Cruz says she and her husband own their own business, so it's not too hard for her to take Hector with her while she's getting work done. That's not the case for Samantha Wernz and her 4-year-old son, Nico. She had to take off work.
Short notice, so he's home with me, but hopefully tomorrow he's going to be somewhere.
Mike Garatoni, owner of Growing Kids, says he understands the bind situations like this put parents in. He's working on solutions.
What we'll do is we'll see what availability we have for space within our existing Growing Kids in the area. Then if we can secure other locations that can help us temporarily.
Wernz says Nico was with Growing Kids in 2016 when serious flooding overtook the daycare. She says Garatoni took care of everything.
So I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to take care of us for this too.
Standing by. As bad as this damage is here, Garatoni says he really feels fortunate. Growing Kids is closed on a Sunday, so there were no kids, there were no staff members there when the tornado comes through. So Garatoni says he's really just so grateful that no one was hurt. Now, of course, this building will need to be rebuilt, but Garatoni says he has every intention of doing that. Live in St. Joseph County, Caitlin Connon, WSBT 22 News.
And as Caitlin mentioned, this isn't the first time Growing Kids has had to deal with natural disaster. You might remember this from August of 2016. Flooding closed Growing Kids for about a month. The owners had a lot of cleanup after this. The flooding left walls, carpets, and supplies inside the daycare just ruined.